Hi everyone, I'm Dan Janicki. I'm the Deputy Chief with the Vienna Police Department. We all want to give you a opportunity to see behind the scenes, a look at our current station and help explain some of the future needs of our hopefully new station we get down the road. Okay, so here we are in the back lot. I just want to show you some concerns that we have here. This is our employee entrance where we park all our police vehicles, and all of our staff enter through the rear here. As you can see, it's not secure. Typically, a law enforcement or a police facility in the country, industry standards is it would be fenced in, or it would be secured lot from the public, from the community. Here we have citizens in the community routinely drive through here mistakenly. So this is typically, this is our rear entrance, which is our employee entrance, but this is also where we will unfortunately have to bring prisoners who people who are in custody into the station through here. We have a number of obstacles a lot of times, like these parking curbs. So another thing that's concerning with this entrance is a lot of times we'll have interviews going on in the conference room, which is immediately when you enter. So we'll have to post a sign saying, please be quiet. We can't have interruptions during these interviews. There's no real private area right here. So if we can come in, I'll show you around a little bit. So I'm now in our commander's office of operations and patrol. He runs all of patrol for the department, which he has a tremendous amount of responsibility. And what's happened recently, ever since the pandemic of COVID-19, this has become, his office has become the storage unit for personal protection equipment for the entire department, PPE equipment, which, as you could see, is pretty inclusive. And we have sanitizers in here, masks, we have gowns, we have goggles. His position has actually provided a lot of this equipment for the entire town, not just the police departments.
Hi, I'm Pio Vasquez, a Public Information Officer for the town of Vienna Police. So now we're going to go take a look at my office. It's right this way, okay? So we didn't have any room at the station for a PIO office, so we use formerly a jail cell. So we converted it into an office now. So welcome to my office, formerly a jail cell. And it was a little bit, there's no windows here, there's no air circulation, it's kind of dingy. So I basically added all of the things the kids are always giving me in the community. So I decorated that so it looks a little bit more homey and not like a jail cell. We added the electricity to this room. There was no electricity, so we can install computers and the phone lines. We have a lot of boxes here and boxes over there, pretty much all over the office underneath. And it's coloring books, badges for the kids, things we give out to the community, pencils, the drug take back that we do twice a year. It's always in April and October. All the boxes are here that we do to set up the event. Bags and bottles we give out to the kids. So my office is like a storage / office / jail cell. So because of the deficiencies of the building, of the AC system and the heating, it's really going down. We all have heaters in our offices, or small ventilators just to keep us warm or cold or in summer. So you're going to notice that through the whole building. So now we're going to show you the jail cell. We only have one jail cell in the whole police station. So we have a female or a male that's been arrested. It's a little bit hard to separate them. Also, if we have a juvenile and we need to separate them normally, it's also a task that we have to assign the officers to deal with because of what we have. And this is just the interview area where we would interview the person. And down here would be the jail cell, the only jail cell we have. So it's almost impossible to separate people. So this is a dispatch and record section. Over here, we have all of our records are over here. We have the dispatch area, and we also have our court liaison. So we're looking at all the records that we have. This is normally like 1 year's worth of citations, traffic accidents, and other records of citizens' requests. Technically, we're supposed to have 7 years of these records available. We don't have them on site because we don't have enough space to store them, so we have them off-site. And normally, if you get a FOIA request or a citizen needs a record that's older than a year, that requires 2 people to travel to another location to get those records available for the citizens. So So this is where we interact with the community. So if someone comes to the police station and they need a service, this is where we interact with them. This is an overflow of all the things that we use to give out to the community. We don't have where to store them, so this is where we currently store them at. This is our dispatch area. As you can see, it's a small area. This is where we take all of our phone calls, dispatch officers to different calls. There's a lot of wiring and things that were added before, because when the building was built originally, it never intended to hold the equipment that is housed in today. So we've been able to mend that as best as we can, but it's time to get up to date on all the needs that the department has. So due to issues with our AC unit, it gets really hot in dispatch, so we had to get creative and improvise. So we added this curtain over here in order to keep all the cold air in this room for the dispatchers so they don't get too hot out of the equipment. And we have portable AC units that we've installed that we run during the summer. Because of all the technological needs that we have right now that we didn't have before, all this wiring have to be added, all these cables have a purpose, and we have to cool them down, so we have fans to keep it cool so nothing overheats. This is our lobby area where we receive citizens, so when someone comes to make a complaint, this is the first place they step in. The dispatcher will call an officer to help them out. A lot of times they gotta wait for the officer to show up. Other citizens come in with other requests, and then they start talking to the officers here, and everyone can hear their complaint. And if it's something private, there's no place to really separate them. Typically, police stations have rooms to separate people, but we don't in these facilities. So that becomes a problem. So this is the office of the Lieutenant of Communications. It's right off of the lobby, so really there's not a protection for the officer that's in this office. Anyone can just walk into this office. So we're in the office of the Lieutenant of Communications, and as you can see over here, he's in charge of e-summons. It's a new system coming out for all the officers to write tickets online, and there's no room to keep the equipment or to maintain it, so it's just kind of piled up in that corner over there.
I'm MPO Mike Finelli with the Vienna Police Department. I'm one of our range officers and firearms trainers here with the department. This area here is where we do all of our firearms training and have all of our firearms storage, maintenance, cleaning, and education. This is the range that we use. As you can see, we have to use a weight to keep it open. So this is the range where we train lethal force, less lethal force, non-lethal force. We're always having issues with this mechanically. The systems will quit working in the middle of training. The ventilation system does not work properly. The temperature definitely gets very hot in here in the summer. Officers have to wear eye and ear protection when they're in training, and a lot of times it will fog over, and we have to take breaks so they can clean their glasses. And having issues with the equipment, you can already see one unit is just stuck down at the end. It's always needing constant repair. The lights, and it gets really smoky in here because the exhaust system is not up to par. Okay, this is the observation room. This is where the instructors will run the qualification courses for the officers. The equipment is extremely dated and malfunctions frequently. We also have to use this for target storage and other things because there's not adequate storage for our equipment here in this building. This is our armory. This is where we would use to store extra firearms, rifles, shotguns, things that are not being in use at the time. However, we don't keep a lot of firearms in here because of the ventilation and the dampness in this room. We've had a lot of guns over time rust and become deteriorated because we cannot store them in this room, and we don't have enough room to store everything we need in here, so we have cabinets throughout the weapons cleaning area to hold the firearms. Okay, this is our weapons cleaning station. It's very important to firearms maintenance, longevity. The only issue here is we don't have enough room. Sometimes we have anywhere from 3 to 8 officers trying to clean firearms safely, which can be challenging, so we're having to supplement something like the roll call room. We don't have enough storage to store our solvents, our cleaning brushes, just not up to standards of current law enforcement stations.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Patrick Kiley, and I'm going to show you the evidence equipment storage space located underneath our stairwell. As you can see here, this is the evidence equipment used to process crime scenes. The space that which we have to store this is very small. It also leaves a very small amount of room to operate for the officers to collect the equipment prior to using. Located here is our female locker room. At this time we have 11 female employees. Out of the 11 employees, we only have 10 lockers. So we do not have enough locker space for our female employees. Also, the shower and the faucet is not running hot water at this time. So this is our IT space. This IT space is originally a sergeant's office. As you can see in here, our IT personnel are limited in their workspace. They have a large amount of servers and different computer equipment with very small room to work. As you may see, we have a common theme: inadequate space. There's not enough space and storage to store all of our uniforms and our excess computer equipment. And as well, we are storing evidence in locker bays underneath stairwells. Our next stop takes us to the Animal Warden's office, which also serves as our property room and equipment room. The first section is the equipment room. This is where all the officers come to get new uniforms and new equipment. As you can see here, it's a very small storage space for all the equipment that needs to be kept. Some of the equipment is also kept in hallways because of the lack of space. This final section is the property room. This small area is responsible for encompassing all of the property that's dealt with by Vienna police officers. This property can be obtained through a crime or can be obtained through found property. As you can see, the area is very small. Outside of the police facility, located underneath the Bowman House, is our patrol bicycle unit. Now I'm going to take you down there to see it now. As you can see in this tight space, there's very little room to hold patrol bikes and patrol bike equipment. You actually have to go all the way to the back of this facility. As you can see, there is drywall falling down everywhere. The lighting is terrible, but we do have our section for our patrol bikes that we use throughout the day, as well as storage for our patrol bike equipment.
I hope you all found this beneficial in helping to understand our current situation here at the building. We obviously have a number of concerns. Three main concerns we're looking at right now is our current storage capacity. It's not adequate. Our security concerns, thirdly, would be our current building is not up to industry standards for public safety facilities. The building you just saw was completed in 1994 and we quickly outgrew its capacity. We're hoping moving forward with a new building, we'll be better prepared for the 21st century policing.